Kiwanis Club of Webster, chartered May 1957. A discussion. Keep and maintain Kiwanis Park and Lodge or sell this property. Club history. Webster Kiwanis was chartered in May 1957. The very first meetings were held at Hedges. Original members of Webster Kiwanis were businessmen, business owners, and rich farmers only. Ralph Ruoff tells the story of when he joined. He came to his first meeting with $20 in his pocket. He says, "All these guys were at the bar with $50 bills on the bar." He got home and he still had $20 because the club bought his dinner and the guys bought his drinks. But he thought to himself, what the heck am I getting myself into? I can't afford this. Unless you owned a business, were an executive, or a rich farmer, you could forget about joining. Besides spending money for dinner and drinks, it was pretty much expected that you'd contribute a minimum of $10 a night to the skillet. Usually, most guys would throw much more in. I remember when dinner was $15, and some nights I'd go through $100 to $150. You had to have money to be in the club. Back then, guys wore a full suit and tie. Years later, it relaxed to sport coats and no ties. My, how things have changed. Clubhouse history. Hap Rifflin and Larry Panapinto signed the papers to buy property for the Kiwanis Club of Webster at the end of Shangri-La Lane in Webster. The folks that owned the second house on the right on Shangri-La Lane wanted to build a new house. They worked out a deal to give their existing house to Kiwanis. The Bash brothers built the foundation for this new field house. Jokingly, it was a condition of Charlie Bash being able to join the club. So the guys got together one day and loaded this small house onto Larry's big truck. Driving up the hill, a bunch of guys had to stand on the front bumper so the truck wouldn't tip over. Can you imagine this happening today? This work was all completed by club members. They did it all. Back in the day, the members would have get-togethers at the field house, grill burgers or the occasional steak roast. They'd get 2 or 3.5 kegs of beer for a party, many times making a phone call 5 to 6 hours later, asking the store to deliver another one. The board of directors meetings were always held at the field house, as it became known. Many times a work party turned into a party. We'd get together to landscape or whatever, and it would end up turning into a party. The club made many improvements and repairs to the original clubhouse. Then, some years ago, demolished the building and completely rebuilt the field house, or as it's now called, Kiwanis Lodge. In years past, the field house's primary user was the club itself. In recent years, this has changed. The club has always allowed other nonprofits to use the lodge and park for their outings, and in recent years, these other nonprofits have become the primary users. Today, the club rarely uses the lodge, albeit other organizations are still using it free of charge. Repairs and maintenance. Work parties. As with any building or property, Kiwanis Park and Lodge needs occasional repairs and maintenance. Years ago, many members were builders, remodelers, plumbers, contractors, or just plain handymen, all willing to pitch in and help, free of charge, to maintain the facility. Need a hot water heater installed, a roof repair, chainsaw a few trees? No problem. The club would put the word out, and a work party would quickly form to do the task. Of course, there'd usually be cocktails involved. In years past, expenses to operate Kiwanis Park and Lodge have been minimal because many members supplied free materials and labor. Times have changed. Change. The face of Kiwanis has changed. It wasn't that long ago that Kiwanis was restricted to men only. No women allowed. Lots of things change or evolve over time. Our families have changed. Our lifestyles have changed. I think life is more complicated today. Service clubs have seen a decline in attendance and participation. It's happened to Kiwanis. It's happened to Lions. It's even happened to newer clubs like the Kiwanis offshoot, the 9 Mile Point Club. Webster Kiwanis is unusual in that it has remained a relatively strong club with strong leadership. albeit the weekly meeting is no more. Now, Kiwanis meets twice monthly. Years ago, at weekly meetings, it wasn't unusual to see 30 to 40 in attendance. Today, a typical twice-monthly meeting draws approximately 9 to 14 members. Again, things change. Donations. Businesses and people today face a barrage of requests for donations. Whether it be sponsorships, cash donations, buying tickets, or buying products, it's never ending and it's growing. Every year there's a new fundraiser, a new cause, a new tragedy. It's getting harder and harder to raise funds. I remember the old days of selling Kiwanis raffle tickets. It was pretty easy. Today, however, many dread getting that letter, email, or envelope in the mail from our club with tickets inside, or the request to go pound the pavement to ask for sponsorships or donations. Many dread it because they know all those people and or businesses are getting these requests from hundreds of other friends, customers, business associates, etc. Members have left the club or lowered their participation level for this reason. Mission statement. What is our purpose? What is Kiwanis? How many times have I had that conversation? My basic answer to people is Kiwanis is a worldwide organization that helps and benefits children around the world. I belong to the Webster Club. Defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. Motto. Kiwanis' motto is serving the children of the world. The original motto was We Trade. A new motto of We Build was adopted during the 1920 International Convention and represented Kiwanis for more than 80 years. Objects. The 6 permanent objects of Kiwanis International were approved by Kiwanis Club delegates at the 1924 convention in Denver, Colorado, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life. To encourage the daily living of the Golden Rule in all human relationships. To promote the adoption and the application of higher social, business, and professional standards. To develop, by precept and example, a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship. To provide, through Kiwanis clubs, a practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities. To cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill. Mission accomplished. Kiwanis is an all-volunteer service club. Kiwanis is not in the business of operating a real estate venture. One of the Kiwanis International objects, build better communities. Well, mission accomplished. The club secured the property and built a beautiful facility. The property is adjacent to existing town parks and trails. Kiwanis Park Lodge could benefit the entire Webster community. Exposure. Kiwanis would enjoy lots of exposure from the community as new visitors use the facility for birthday parties, wedding receptions, graduation parties, summer picnics. I mentioned to Mark Yeager, the head of Webster Park and Rec, that some Kiwanis members have suggested that the club start advertising and renting out Kiwanis Lodge. Here's his response. Well, that's funny. If it's such a big moneymaker, the private sector would be building them left and right. The building itself inside and out needs constant maintenance, just like their homes. Yearly type maintenance, painting, replacing and fixing lights, switches, refrigerators, stoves, microwaves, fireplace maintenance, garden beds, trees, bushes, and flowers maintained and mulched, grass cutting and snow plowing, exterior of the building, painting, lights, bulbs, walkways clean and safe. Parking lot lighting. Inspect all outdoor play pieces for safety problems. Interior. Cleaning after every rental. Remove garbage. Check all appliances. Are they clean and working? Sweep and wash the floor if needed. Clean and restock men's and women's restrooms after every rental. Restock garbage bags and cleaning supplies for the renters to use before they leave. Check all doors and windows after every rental, ensuring they are secure, and pay all utility costs. And then you have the office responsibilities. Schedule and profess reservations. Coordinate the schedule with the Parks Department. Process refunds for cancellations and handle all complaints. There's also the cost of employees and vehicles and equipment to maintain the facilities. Quick thoughts. Hope this helps. Mark. Recognition and benefits of a sale. Some benefits of selling Kiwanis Park Lodge. Number 1, the naming rights. The property will always be called Kiwanis Park and Kiwanis Lodge. Name recognition. Number 2, a plaque. A plaque would be installed outside the lodge recognizing the Kiwanis Club of Webster for its contribution to the community. Maybe include the website address at the bottom. Number 3, the club would not have to spend a dime or perform any work on the property, but could still enjoy free use of the facilities for club functions. You would have to define the number of times. No more worries about roof leaks, road work, hot water repairs, mowing, etc. Number 4, funds. The club will receive money from the sale. Number 5, club could require a certain number of free days for clubs like Camp Smile. And below, here is a chart of 1 year of Park Lodge expenses totaling $7,314. Cut expenses, increase yearly income. This past year, Kiwanis spent over $7,000 to operate and maintain the property. Consider this. The club could still use the lodge and park free of charge. No headaches or worries associated with operating the lodge. Have an extra $5,000 to $8,000 or more yearly savings from operating the property. Camp Smile would have at least 2 weeks of free use. Exposure and notoriety for Kiwanis. A new infusion of cash and or regular yearly income. Cash, invest. A certified financial advisor could help the club understand what cash flow might look like from a sale of the property. The club could place a portion of the sale proceeds in the club bank account and invest the rest, or invest the entire sum of money today and not start drawing for X number of years like a deferred annuity. Kiwanis is lucky to have many members that are experienced business people, as well as a well-known professional certified financial advisor. Another club story. Charlie Bash tells a story of a club in Florida. While vacationing in Florida, he would attend their club meetings. The club owned a trailer park, an income-producing piece of property. They didn't want to deal with headaches of the day-to-day operation, so they sold the property. Now, according to Charlie, this relieved much pressure from the club. They didn't have to deal with operating the property. There was less pressure for fundraising. And after the sale, the club became bigger and stronger. It actually increased membership from approximately 60 to approximately 80 members. Charlie agrees it's time for Kiwanis to sell the property. He also said today Larry Panapinto would be the first one to say it's time to sell. A month before he died, Charlie Phillips said it was time Kiwanis sold the property. Thank you.